Hello, this is Paul Milligan for IC Show TV at IC 2017. I'm joined today by Bryce Button from AJ Video Systems. Welcome, Bryce.
Thank you. Good to see you.
So video streaming seems to be a really popular technology at the moment. It really seems to have caught on in the last year or 2 years. Why do you think the timing is now right for the technology?
I think it's a combination of items. End users are getting better bandwidth basically into the house or wherever they might be, and affordably. So everyone from Comcast, for instance, in the States, to AT&T, they're all offering better packages, and many countries have spent a lot of time, sort of building that bandwidth, and the bigger installers have gone in to do so for facilities and the rest of it. So there's a little more bandwidth there. Secondly, I think compression has come a long way. So from HEVC on down, there are a lot more options for compression, which is obviously better picture quality, smaller sizes. And then the products themselves, just Wi-Fi repeaters, the ability to use things like an Apple TV in the house, off your iPad. There's a lot of different reasons.
I mean, have you seen a growing demand, especially recently, in customers asking for, or integrators, consultants coming to you for solutions?
Absolutely, and most of them want an over-the-top or OTT or streaming kind of solution. And what that amounts to is the ability to deal with it easily.
Sure.
So we've been thrilled to announce Hilo is shipping at the show.
Sure.
And Hilo is our standalone streaming device. And we went that route because we've always offered streaming with a combination of cards,
sure,
CPUs, desktops. But doing the kind of thing you're doing right here, where you're doing a shoot and you maybe want to stream it live, we wanted to offer a device like we have in the past that can do that standalone. And that's what we've done with the Hilo.
Sure. I mean, do you feel there's sometimes in the past been sort of over complexity with video streaming systems, and do you think that's maybe going away now, or do you think it's
getting
still a bit
little simpler because I think there are more and more CDNs or content distribution networks that people trust in, that have fairly straightforward configuration settings and the like. And so we've made that simple to work with on our end. If you've got our Hilo streaming device, and there's literally, in our case, a button on the front that says stream, so you hit it when you get to your location and off it goes.
For our viewers, could you go through differences between broadcast, OTT and IP streaming, please?
Yeah, because the term, especially in the AV space, gets used quite lightly. The key difference has to do with latency. So if you are looking at something over the internet, for instance, just take a typical Netflix experience, it doesn't really matter if it starts 2-3 seconds later. You're starting it whenever you want it anyway. When it comes to the traditional broadcast, you and I might turn on the telly on a weekend and you're wanting to see some sports. Well, that experience, to be really worthwhile, something has to have as little latency as possible, all the way from the camera on the field to the end user. It's nothing more annoying than watching an over-the-top broadcast where you're watching the play go down, meanwhile the kids have texted you to tell you what the score is. So the idea of going after broadcast IP is to basically try and replicate and make better the traditional broadcast experience. And to pull that off, we and many other vendors last year really got active within AIMS, which is an organization of vendors and end users, bigger networks, for instance, to push for common standards, to push for what we call discovery, the ability for one piece of equipment sitting on one end of an IP pipe to automatically recognize that on the other. And the other benefit of all that is going to be remote production. So that's the key difference. Be very careful when you talk about IP as exactly what you mean. And I differentiate it by using that term broadcast IP.
Fantastic.
But streaming, all these things have immense value. Tons of entities have found a way to basically become broadcasters themselves through streaming. And by being in a niche area, for instance, and their passion for their projects, effectively you have a ton of niche broadcasters today. But on the other end, where you're trying to deal with bigger programming, etc., you really need to be looking at what we consider broadcast IP, and that is the movement for as close to zero latency as possible, and all the wonderful things you get with TV right now, whether that's 4K possibilities, whether that's high dynamic range, etc.
Brilliant. Bryce, thanks for clearing that up. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely, thank you.